we go. Rapid fire crime in Australia. Starting out, Hells Angels expanded to Australia in 1975, initially established in chapters in Melbourne and Sydney, and now have approximately 250 members and 14 chapters in the country. The club's activities in Australia have traditionally included drug trafficking, prostitution, armed robbery, arms trafficking, fencing stolen goods, and murder for hire. But they have more recently moved into legitimate businesses such as gyms, tattoo parlors, haulage companies, and the security industry. Look at these guys.
Might as well.
You didn't hear that in America. They were doing that. They were just like, no, we just do straight up crime, bitches. We got time for hauling shit around.
Right.
Except for dead bodies.
Well, the Popo there in Australia, they allege that the Hells Angels use mainstream industries to launder existing funds and to exploit new income streams, using the strategies they developed during a series of gang wars to intimidate business competitors. The all-Australian Hells Angels have aligned themselves with the Coffin Cheaters, Immortals, the Red Devils, Satan Soldiers, Vikings, and the Prisoners of War. There's also a prison gang operating inside the HMP Barwon.
No, that would be the Prisoners of War.
Right. While they have been involved in conflicts with the Bandidos, the Comancheros, the Diablos, the Finks, the Nomads, and the Notorious.
All right. The first conflict was with the Rebels after the Hells Angels demanded that the Rebels change their colors from red and white, which is the same colors as the Hells Angels. The conflict ended with the Rebels beating a Hells Angels chapter president in his house with a baby's pram. What is that? Four-wheeled carriage for a baby pushed by a person on foot. A pram, huh? Mm.
It's a stroller.
I can see it. Right. In 2006, the Canadian journalists Julian Schur and William Marsden wrote, the Hells Angels remain the most powerful bikie gang in the country, even though they have fewer members than other gangs, such as the Rebels or the Gypsy Jokers.
Right, ain't that weird?
The Hells Angels, baby. And why are Canadian journalists writing this and not the Australians?
They got nothing else to talk about.
Yes.
Hockey probably ain't in right now. Yeah. Let's go to the New South Wales, boys. Members of the rival motorcycle gang, the Comancheros, and members of the Hells Angels believed to be involved in a clash on Melbourne to Sydney flight, and subsequently at the Sydney airport on the 22nd of March, 2009.
We're all on a plane.
Damn. The clash resulted in one man, which was a Hells Angels associate, Anthony Zervais, being beaten to death. The Popo estimated as many as 15 men were involved in this violence. Documents released by the NSW police detailed the brawl as a result of the Comanchero National President Mick Howie and the Hells Angels National President Derek Waynahu being on the same flight from Melbourne. Oh, they can't be on the same flight.
Oh, man.
4 suspects arrested as a result of the altercation.
Oh.
As a result of heightening violence, the New South Wales Premier, Nathan Rees, announced the State Police Anti-Gang Squad. They would be boosted to 125 members from 50. Damn.
Jeez.
The main suspect in this very case is Mick Howie. He was sentenced to jail and then released a few years later. Then he himself shot dead in downtown Sydney, 2018.
Damn, bet it had something to do with that brawl. Well, that was 9 years later, but how many years
we
did he
already
go to
know
jail?
how they like to... Well, that's crazy.
On the night of March 29, 2009, Hells Angel member Peter Zervas, the brother of the man killed during the Sydney airport brawl a week earlier, was shot and injured as he left his car outside his home. July 20th, 2011, an NSW judge dismissed a bid by the state's police commissioner to have the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club declared a criminal organization under laws introduced to NSW Parliament in 2009, allowing the court to declare criminal organizations as declared organizations. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
July 8th. So the judge didn't want that, huh?
I guess not.
July 8, 2013, Tyrone Lee Slemnick, age 37, was standing guard outside the home of Hells Angels Sydney chapter president Suvat Saramsaklioglu when he was gunned down as shots were fired from a passing car. No one has been held responsible for his death, and there have been no arrests as a result.
Well, I bet not. Following the death of Slemnick, Saramsaklioglu, the club president, he was charged with the possession of a military-style assault weapon, which was found in the boot of a taxi,
for you all.
Right, which he was later acquitted of. All right, you can't. It's a taxi. Was he inside that taxi?
I would assume so.
At that time?
Maybe.
His lawyer, Omar Jouinat, told the court that the police were unable to prove that Saramsaklioglu knew the firearm was even there.
Right.
The Popo feared that the weapon was to be used for retaliation.
Probably was.
Following the acquittal for those matters in April 2016, Saramsaklioglu, he stood trial. with 2 others for abduction, for which he was found not guilty.
Oh, good for him.
November 2017.
They're trying to get this guy.
Charged for supply of large commercial quantity of drugs. He was held in custody for 18 months before his trial was derailed by the prosecution, prompting lawyer Omar Juanat to complain that civil liberties are quickly eroding. Damn, 18. Dude, that's bullshit. You're supposed to be a spare feed.
Well, it is Australia.
A quick, speedy trial.
Well, it is Australia.
All right. Run by Britain rules, right?
Right. Well, that's all for New South Wales. Let's move on to Northern Territory. Hells Angels was established in the Northern Territory after patching over the Blancs, which was a Darwin-based bikie gang on, it's a bikie gang.
It's a bike gang.
On 2nd of April, 1993. The Darwin chapter of the Hells Angels is believed to be involved in drug and gun rackets, trafficking of firearms, and other equipment stolen from Army units.
Oh.
Hells Angels members Nicholas Frank Shonky Cassidy and James Scott Parnell Knight were convicted of aggravated assault and sentenced to 15 and 20 months, respectively, in September 2009.
Not too bad.
3 others were acquitted due to lack of evidence.
All right. 6th of December 2007. Cassidy knocked unconscious by 2 brothers, Bob and Warren Mahoney. That happened in a pub in Darwin during a fight that resulted from a joke about Cassidy's weight. Oh. Less than an hour later, Cassidy, Knight, and 4 other Hells Angels associates returned to the pub, and they attacked the Mahoney bros, who were hospitalized with facial injuries. Ooh.
Meanwhile, Levi Griffiths was killed after being hit by a ute driven by Hells. Is that a truck? I think a ute is a truck. It's like a lorry. Oh, no. Utility or coupe utility vehicle. It's a ute, yeah. Okay, a utility vehicle for all you non-Australians. Yeah, it was driven by Hells Angels members Nicholas Cassidy. What are you doing, Nicholas? Who was intoxicated at the time in Howard Springs, June 4th, 2011. Cassidy attempted to conceal the accident by moving Griffith's body to an area on the Stewart Highway in Coolalinga, several kilometers from the crash site, replacing the windscreen and spraying the vehicle with bleach and insecticide.
Oh.
Cassidy was arrested after being identified as the owner and driver of the vehicle that hit Griffiths. 21st October 2013, he was convicted of attempting to pervert the course of justice. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison, November 1st. That was it?
Oh, wow.
Geez, what happened to the guy? Did he get killed? Yeah, he was killed. Didn't even get charged for that.
Oh, wow. It's
What the
crazy. Well, shit happens, right?
Yes.
2 Angel associates arrested and charged by the Northern Territory Popo, 14th October, year 2020, with supplying a commercial quantity of a Schedule I dangerous drug, possession of a Schedule II dangerous drug, possession of unlicensed firearms, possession of unlicensed ammunition, and the unlicensed weapons, ammo, and drugs were also seized during a series of raids on multiple properties in the rural Darwin area. Damn. Getting all that shit. The raids were carried out as part of a national joint operation against the Hells Angels coordinated by National Task Force Morpheus and involving the Australian Federal Popo and the Australian Border Force and others, which resulted in a total of 24 arrests and the seizure of firearms, ammo, cash, drugs, including meth, coke, steroids, and GHB at 28 locations nationwide.
Damn.
Nationwide.
Well, all right. Well, not much happened in the first 2. That's it for Northern Territory. And moving on to Queensland, the Brisbane chapter of the Hells Angels, founded 27th of March 1997. Bruno and Nuno da Silva, 2 Portuguese immigrant twin brothers and former Brisbane Hells Angels members, were arrested following a police surveillance operation and pled guilty to trafficking meth from June 2012 to October 2013.
Oh.
The brothers operated from an East Brisbane locksmith business and passed a percentage of their drug earnings to the Hells Angels at weekly meetings, although they had left the club at the time of their arrest. Why? You can't just leave the club.
All right, there's no way.
December 2015, Bruno was sentenced to 9 years imprisonment, while Nuno was sentenced to 7.
Oh, shit. 2012, Peter City Argos, Zelko Mitrovic, they call him Steve, both senior Hells Angels members in Sydney. They were granted nomad status and spearheaded a push into the Gold Coast, founding a chapter in the suburb of Burleigh Heads. The Popo stated in 2015 that the Angels were now the most active club on the Gold Coast after anti-bike laws weakened the rival Bandidos and Finks, a club later patched over to the Mongols.
Oh, shit.
Wow. These guys had previously been more prominent in this area, but not anymore. The Angels come in strong with their Harleys, and these guys got like Hondas and stuff. Like,
I don't know. That's probably a law that you have to have Australian-made stuff, just like America has.
Man, what kind of Australian bikes they got? Probably buying Kawasaki's from Japan. Or Vesnas or whatever.
Vespas?
Vespas.
Scooters.
Right.
From Italy.
Right. The Hells Angels were one of 26 motorcycle clubs designated as criminal organizations in the state of Queensland under the Vicious Lawless Association Disestablishment Act, which was passed on October 16, 2013, and it went into effect immediately. The ink wasn't even dried yet.
Right.
They already had warrants.
All right. Moving on to South Australia. First chapter there in South Australia was formed in Adelaide on 1st of October 1983. Oh, damn, they're like older than everybody. Similar to the case in Queensland, the Hells Angels were also declared a criminal organization in the state of South Australia, along with 9 other motorcycle clubs under the legislation that came into force August 2015. Under the laws, it is an offense for members of these organizations to gather in groups of 3 or more in public or wear gang colors and logos. Oh, wow. 5 alleged Hells Angels members and prospects became the first to be charged under the laws after they arrested in a series of raids across Adelaide on December 31st, 2015. Damn, they didn't even get to celebrate New Year's Eve either. Damn, they were really cracking down. Not even allowed to wear their colors out in public.
Popular criminal Vince Faccarelli. He was kicked out of the Hells Angels. He then joined the other clubs, including the Comancheros.
Wait, how many did he join?
He then joined other clubs, including the Comancheros, and set up his own club.
Oh, look at this guy.
He left the Comancheros later. Him and his son, Giovanni, they were shot at by unknown assailants in 2012. Oh, Vince, he was sent to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and his son dead.
Oh.
He has refused to name any suspects, even though this was not the first time he was targeted. While Vince was in the hospital, he was visited by friends who are Finks members. Some Finks members also visited the funeral of Giovanni.
They trying to imply the Hells Angels did it? That's what I'm getting at here, huh?
Or either the Comancheros or...
I don't think so. Clearly, Hells Angels are implied on that.
Right.
That's it for South Australia. Moving on to the last state, but the one with the most info is Victoria. We're going to go by decades here on this one. 1980 is going to start first. In 80, Melbourne chapter founding members Peter John Hill and Raymond Hammett flew to California to visit Oakland chapter president Kenny Walton in prison.
All right.
Walton taught them how to manufacture meth, or amphetamines, in prison. Okay. Paving the way for the drug's introduction into Australia. And in return, the Australians supplied the Oakland chapter with 300 liters of the chemical phenylacetone, enough to produce 50 million worth of amphetamines.
Oh.
Hill posted the phenylacetone in 3-liter pineapple juice tins to his closest U.S. contact, which was James Patton Brandes, who they called Sleepy Jim.
Oh, Sleepy Jim.
All right, look at this.
You won't be sleepy so much after this.
That chemical must not be illegal in Australia if they're getting
Probably
their hands
not.
on that.
Right. Hells Angels rented a farmhouse in Melbourne's northeast near Hurstbridge, where they produce amphetamines in 50-pound batches worth $600,000 a piece.
That's in the 80s.
The drug lab was raided by the Special Operations Group 10th of March, 1982, and Hill and the 3 other Angels arrested. Eventually, investigators arrested 19 people, seized 3 kilograms of amphetamines, as well as cash, explosives, handguns, and also a machine gun.
Oh, nice.
This sparked an internal feud over the gang's operations that led to around 40 violent incidents. Oh,
Internally.
oh shit.
Well, Hill and another member, Roger Biddlestone, cut their ties with the Hells Angels and cooperated with the police, prompting the club to put a contract on their lives. 9 Hells Angels were charged with conspiring to murder Hill and Biddlestone, but Biddlestone refused to testify, and the charges against his former clubmates were dropped.
I bet.
He was subsequently convicted of contempt of court, though.
He's fine.
Hill was convicted on drug charges in 87 and jailed alongside a number of others. During the investigation, codenamed Omega 2, the police tracked club members' movements ferociously, prompting Jim Brandes, the Melbourne Hells Angels American contact, to try and assassinate Barb Armstrong, who was a detective on the case.
Oh, shit.
Brandes, who had been previously acquitted of the 78 attempted murder of 2 police officers in the United States, flew to Melbourne, but was immediately deported.
Yeah, as soon as the guy was like...
Oh, they're like, no, dude, you've already got violent crime on you.
Right.
You idiot.
Right.
Get out of here.
I mean, to avoid all that, these countries should be like, nah, you're on a list.
Oh, most of them do. You get most of them.
I'm saying if you're in the United States, you'd be like, you're going to Australia, well, you're on a list, bud.
Well, no, they don't know that.
They should.
You don't need to do that on your way out. It's just the country you're entering. Everybody has a violent crime offender. Like, you're not even allowed in Japan or anything if you've been convicted of even a drug charge.
1990s. Terrence Raymond Tognolini, they call him Terry. He's the president and enforcer of the Angels Nomads.
President and enforcer. Okay, did double duty.
Damn, he was involved in an apparent road rage incident with motorist Mustafa Yildirim in Campbellfield, which was in Melbourne on the 22nd of December, 1995. Tognolini followed Yildirim to his workplace. The men traded blows until they were separated before Tognolini retrieved a gun from his car and he fired several shots at Yildirim, all of which missed.
Well, you're a pretty shitty enforcer there, guy.
Right. Holy shit, man. Police raided Tognolini's home and found 5 cannabis plants in the backyard. He was charged with unlawful assault with a weapon, making threats to kill, possessing cannabis, cultivating a narcotic plant. The case against him collapsed, though, when Yildirim refused to testify after being repeatedly harassed, even about the pot. He's like, did he try to shoot at you? No, we can't get him on the pot charges.
Damn it. All right. Meanwhile, Tognolini was later implicated in the murder of Vicky Joy Jacobs, who was a 37-year-old woman who was shot 6 times as she slept next to her 6-year-old son in her apartment in Long Gully, Bendigo on June 12, 1999.
Dang.
The previous year, Jacobs had given evidence that helped convict her ex-husband, Gerald David Preston, for the August 96 murders of a drug dealer and mechanic Les Knowles and his employee Tim Richards in Adelaide. And her testimony implicated the Hells Angels in hiring Preston for the killings.
Uh-oh.
The prosecution heard that Tognolini had contracted Preston to murder Knowles, who was trying to expand into the Hells Angels drug territory, and also sold him a Luger pistol that he used in the murders.
Oh, look at that shit.
Why is your president doing this stuff, guys?
I know, it's so stupid.
Jeez.
Well, the Victoria Police bulldozed their way into the fortified Thomastown headquarters of the Nomads chapter in July of 1999 as part of the investigation, seizing a sawn-off shotgun, bulletproof vests, bags of documents, what kind of documents, and 3 motorcycles.
So nothing, really.
Tognolini, he was overseas, Preston in prison at the time of Jacob's murder, and no one has been charged with this crime. However, a coronial inquest in 2004 declared that the Popo believed she was murdered on the orders of the Angels as a payment for Preston remaining silent over the club's involvement in the Adelaide murders. I don't know about that. Maybe.
So her ex-husband and probably the father of their kid.
Right.
And he was like, I'll stay silent, but you can murder her. Don't worry. Wow. It's pretty fucked up. I guess he was probably going to get murdered if not, huh?
All right.
Well, moving on to the 2000s, June 2004, Victoria Police arrested Stephen Rogers, the president of the Melbourne chapter of the Hells Angels, on charges of trafficking in amphetamine.
Oh.
The Victoria Police seized assets worth $3 million Australian dollars, including 6 houses, cars, trucks, and motorcycles.
Damn.
In 2004, the Hells Angels and the Rebels were involved in a brawl at the Dance Music Awards at the Adelaide Football Stadium that ended with the bikies first using the chairs and their fists as weapons, followed up by guns.
Uh-oh.
The guests at the Dance Music Awards fled in terror as shots were fired.
I bet they did. Sons of bitches. Angels members Raymond Joseph Hammett Jr., they call him Ray, and Paul Peterson, and club associate Andrew Hinton each pled guilty to charges of conduct endangering life, intentionally causing serious injury, false imprisonment, and rioting after abducting Brendan Schiavella from outside a bar and holding him captive for 5 hours in Ivanhoe, Melbourne. They did that on the 25th of June in 2005. Schiavella was found with a toe amputated, but told the Popo he could not recall how it happened. Well, I think it's always been like that.
Okay.
It's been bleeding for 25 years. And there was no motive has been established for the incident either.
Oh, geez, he knew to keep his mouth shut.
Right.
Well, January 2007, we're back to Tognolini. He was expelled from the Hells Angels, had his tattoos removed, and was savagely beaten and dumped on the street outside Thomastown, the clubhouse, after his fellow members learned that he was the subject of child sex allegations.
Oh, no. The mobster show, the mafia episode last time, there was
Roy DeMeo was participating in child porn, yeah.
What the freak's going on with these idiots?
Well, police arrested him on blackmail and arson charges and for a series of sex offenses 6 months later. He was found guilty of 18 counts of supplying a drug of dependence to a child.
Oh, shit.
1 count of an indecent act with a child under 16.
Oh, that dude needs to be moited.
And 1 count of attempting to pervert the course of justice and imprisoned for 6.5 years in 2009 and was further convicted of 9 counts of blackmail, 3 of arson, 2 of intentionally causing injury and stalking, and had 18 months added to his sentence in 2010. That's it.
Just 18 months.
Many of Tognolini's crimes were part of the extortion racket he ran, using his former Hells Angels connections as well as threats and assaults to intimidate his victims. Nobody killed this guy?
Right.
The fuck?
Holy shit. 18th of June, 2007. Hells Angels member Christopher Wayne Hudson opened fire on 2 men and a woman during an argument in the central business district of Melbourne. After assaulting his girlfriend, Kara Douglas, 2 male bystanders, Brendan Kyler and Paul DeWard, attempted to assist Douglas. Hudson pulled a gun and shot all 3, killing Kyler on the corner of William Street and Flinders Lane. Hudson fled from the scene, went into hiding for 2 days before turning himself into the Popo on the 20th of June, 2007. He did that in Wallen, north of Melbourne. 2008, in May, Hudson guilty to the murder of Brendan Kyler and was sentenced that September to life in prison with a minimum of 35 years before becoming eligible for parole.
All right, good for you. He dragged her out on the street by her hair, her girlfriend, attempted to assist. Hudson pulled guns and was fatally wounded in the head, Kyler was. Douglas later had a kidney removed as a result of her injuries. So he's all drugged out.
Yeah.
Just 2 days before that happened, he fired at police in Campbellfield at a night of car driving with Collinwood footballer Alan Didek.
Jeez.
He's in prison for life, so...
Right.
Moving on to 2010's Hells Angels member Glenn David Dickman was found guilty of intentionally causing serious injury and threatened to kill and acquitted of theft, while club hangaround Ali Chowak was found guilty of recklessly causing serious injury, threat to kill, and false imprisonment October 2014 after the pair beat 18-year-old German tourist Faizo Akbari, doesn't sound German,
right,
with a baseball bat at the Hells Angels clubhouse in Thomastown in September 2009.
Oh, shit.
When he falsely claimed to be a club member. Okay. Akbari's injuries included bleeding between the skull and lining of the brain, a broken leg, and lacerations to his scalp and face. Well, how about this? Don't go around in a notorious motorcycle gang and claim that you're a part of them.
Right. Idiot. Okay. Peter John Hewat, they call him Schizo. He was Sergeant at Arms of the Hells Angels East County chapter in Campbellfield, which is in Melbourne. He was arrested in March of 2013 after striking a 64-year-old woman during a dispute over his dog. And he was again arrested in October as part of a statewide raid targeting the Angels, in which 13 people arrested, weapons and drugs were seized. Hewat was sentenced to 10 months in jail in January 2014 after he pled guilty to assault, weapons offenses, handling stolen goods, and operating a tow truck without the proper license.
All right.
That's it.
They got him on that one. That was the most serious offense. The Bandinos reportedly declared war on the Hells Angels after an ambush on several Banditos members outside the affiliated Diablos clubhouse in Melton, Melbourne on the 1st of March 2013, in which over 30 shots were fired and 2 men, including Bandinos National Sergeant at Arms Toby Mitchell, were wounded. Whoa. The Hells Angels Nomad chapter were blamed for the attack, and brothers Daniel and Ben Pegararo, both members of the Hells Angels Puppet Club, the Red Devils, were questioned by the police.
Uh-oh.
Within a week of the shooting, a clubhouse in Bendigo linked to the Hells Angels was burned down, and the Pagaro brothers' home in Epping, Melbourne, was attacked in a drive-by shooting.
Uh-oh.
Although prolonged violence was expected, the feud seemingly ended after senior members of the 2 club held peace talks.
Oh, you know that shit's going to happen.
All right. We don't have time for this, man.
Right. Ray Hammett Jr., president of Hells Angels Nomad, pled guilty to a charge of recklessly causing serious injury. Jailed 3 months after attacking a man who approached him in a McDonald's in Thomastown on the 7th of June in 2013. Angels carried out drive-by shootings using either AK-47s or M1 carbines and attempted bombings on 2 properties, a tattoo parlor in Dandenong, and a gym in Hallam, owned by Comanchero's state president Michael Murray. They call him Mick. Hey, yo, Mick. In the early hours of September 30th, 2013, after several Angels were assaulted while trying to recover stolen motorcycles from the rival club.
Oh, jeez. Within hours of the attacks, the clubhouse of the Hells Angels Dark Side chapter in Seaford, Melbourne, was shot at in an apparent retaliation.
Uh-oh.
October 13, 2013, Victoria police raided every Hells Angels property in the state.
Oh, shit.
In an attempt to curb bikie-related violence, seizing guns, ammo, drugs, and cash, and arresting 13 people, but failed to retrieve the assault rifles used in these shootings.
Damn.
Of course, why would you?
Well, they may be stupid, but they're not dumb.
Finally, the first time these guys did something smart was not bring the shit back.
Right. Oh, Dennis Basic.
Not a basic Dennis.
Right. He was a prospective member of the Dark Side chapter. He was arrested for attempted bombings, properties, and pled guilty to 13 charges, which also included firearm and drug possession. Having been held in custody since his arrest until the time of his sentencing in December 2015, the judge ruled that the time he had served in jail, it was enough, but ordered he served an additional 12-month community corrections order.
What are these judges doing? The president of the Hells Angels Dark Side chapter, Mohammed Sam Khoder, was jailed for 7.5 years for selling more than $220,000 worth of amphetamines to undercover police officers in January 2015.
Oh, you dummy.
Again, why the fuck are your presidents doing this?
Fucking stupid.
He had been targeted during an investigation codenamed Operation Staten, part of a major crackdown on motorcycle gangs by Victoria police. He sold 910 grams of the drug to officers in 11 separate transactions between October 2013 and February 2014.
Damn.
He also sold a Browning semi-automatic pistol with ammunition to the officers for $10,500.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that was, like I said, not as long as the other ones, but, I mean, actually not even as violent as I
just
was expecting, to be honest.
regular stuff, pretty much.